can pick up our classic large fries for just $1.
I just don't. I mean, it was like we had to sign things to get it here early. It was like, it's just, look, tell me these instructions. Open the cover and face up, pull up insurance card, push button, one word, set it off. Hold the upper part of the spin switch by left hand tightly. Hold the red arrow on the spin switch by right hand and spin it along arrow direction for releasing. I don't understand how you can make it so difficult.
That's just a
Well,
train
this
wreck.
bit is now off.
Yeah, you win.
Sick.
All right, cool.
I feel like Nick just
so
likes to make
stuffed.
mess, so observers and people need to come
No,
clean it up.
I know. The sad thing is, in order to get the okay by Riot to get this dumb, broken thing, I had to agree to clean up the mess.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Where's
I'm-
the vacuum?
I'm the gopher this afternoon. All right.
Well, this is $10, not $1. We went for the top tier.
There's a
Not the budget.
50. There you
Oh,
go.
there's multiple.
Yeah,
You might want to keep that one.
That's from my McDonald's last
A
week.
little baby McDonald's. Sick.
Speaking of McDonald's, one Nish in the chat is looking for food delivery. But I point this out because you say you're in Armidale. That's where I was born. I grew up in Armidale. I was there until I was about 18. So hi, one Nish. You're now my favorite person in Twitch chat. Speaking of, I have no segue for this. We're doing painting tomorrow, which I am very excited about. I mean, no. Rewind. Speaking of mess, we're doing painting tomorrow.
There we go.
We have painted a Gragas. We have painted a
Nico.
We painted Nico next. We needed to up our painting game. So we have decided for this split, the painting challenge is we want to spread the painting love all over the world. We are going to pick casters, hosts, play-by-plays, or league personalities from different regions, and we're going to paint portraits of those people, hopefully with the end goal that they want us to ship them that portrait, it lives on their set, and then
Surely.
maybe they do something for us
Sure,
once
yes.
in your life.
Give back to the little man.
You know what
So
we'll call
many
it?
ideas.
Paint it forward.
Paint. Oh, you're good.
Yeah, I'll tell you
Oh,
what.
it's the glasses. You got them back this week, and now you're on
That
point.
was so much smarter. I am interested into who you guys want to paint.
I don't know. I haven't decided yet.
You have so. You told me during the ad
Well,
break.
no, but like I actually haven't. I don't know. See, the thing is, at least like people in this room,
Yeah.
I'm the only one that hasn't cast another region. So you all like everybody. I mean, no. Cast. The term is cast,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So
So
yeah,
do you mean, like,
you've all
personal
done LPL?
relationships?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I actually like personally don't know many of them.
But this is the situation that I'm in as well.
yeah.
And I'm excited by that because I feel like it's freeing. Because I think that these guys might get in their heads of like, oh, what if I paint this person? They get really offended.
He's going to remember the time that I keyed his car. Oh.
Yeah, totally. Like, and
I don't wanna remind him.
And what if I like put a bad nose on them by accident, which is definitely going to happen? And they're going to take it personally. But for me,
We're really not good with noses on the OPL.
we're great with nipples, bad with noses. So we should paint Pyra. So it is a situation where, for you and I would look at it as though we are free to do whatever we want.
Yeah.
Bryce is free.
You
were
also-
Dobby 2 weeks ago.
You also know people, Bryce, and you
Oh, no,
have
no.
worked with some
Yeah.
casters that I
Like
think
Australians.
you should
yeah.
have. Well, no.
No, you should paint your
Canadians.
ex-coach.
Canadians.
I should paint my ex-coach. Oh yeah. That's Raz is an option. I think Raz is a very good option.
I think you should paint Raz.
Yeah, Raz is.
I'm painting Medic. And you're about to
Hilarious.
tell me there's a Twitch chat poll for this. And just to get ahead of this conversation, I don't give a crap. I'm painting Medic.
I don't think so. No, I left this one up to us because
Yeah, alright,
this
good.
is art. You can't tell us what art is.
Yeah.
It's our art. I think Raz is a great suggestion.
Yeah.
Also, Raz thinks Raz is a great suggestion. So no, but, like I've been getting pictures all week of Raz.
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah,
I've got Raz squatting like a frog.
Yeah.
Like we
This
got
is-
Raz up the wazoo to be able to paint.
This is like normally I'm actually on top of everything that happens on Twitter, but genuinely this week I haven't looked.
He's been making beds.
Yeah.
If I have to hear about this bed one more time.
I have consumed so little, and I'm a consumer.
Is this some long play? As though you're trying to convince us that you didn't have enough time to finish 25 minutes of a film? Because I feel like that's what it is. Rusty, do you have something to say?
Is it known how we're painting. So, like, does anyone know that people are halving a painting or something? Because if he's deciding Raz,
Yeah.
and there is a second person coupled into this, I think it's a conversation.
Correct. So
quietly.
we do, of course, have the problem that the
cast
color
games.
cast that we have to play League of Legends. The color casters, two of the color casters switch out halfway throughout the evening. So the solve for that, instead of giving them less time to finish a painting, those two people will share a painting, and they will not do as much as they can, the first person, and then the second person comes in and finishes it. They will take literally half of the face, and one person will paint the left half, and one person will paint the right half. So, Rusty, that is a good point. Depending on the casting order tomorrow, which I believe it is you and Bryce switching out, you are going to have a joint discussion about who you pick.
But they both pick the same caster?
It is the same it is the
it's
same
not-
face.
So
An
it's
amalgamation.
Yeah.
Just not
it's
half
not a
both,
homunculus.
Half Raz. It is.
Yeah.
Raz.
Okay.
But it's an interpretation of Raz by two people, or whoever you want. Who would you suggest?
Frostgoon.
Ooh.
Because I know I can't offend her if I mess up the painting.
Yeah, that's actually true. Frostgoon is just a good sport in all things.
Yeah?
Yeah, okay. I mean, we can scissor, paper, rock. Let's scissor, paper, rock. Why
Let's just do Frostgoon.
Well, 50-50.
Yeah, I'm with Nick. Let's just do Frostgoon.
All right. Scissors, paper, rock.
Hang on,
Let's go.
hang on. There's a very simple way to do
Are
this.
you going to, wait, scissor, paper, rock the website?
No. I'm going to look up who has more Twitter followers.
Oh, Frostgoon,
I
absolutely.
know.
smashed it.
I was making a show of it, but yes, thank you very much, Jack.
I think she has like 60,000 more.
because therefore, we want to get that
We're
reach.
optimizing
We're
reach.
getting clout.
Yes.
We're
Yes.
clout farmers on the OPL.
100%.
We are look,
Yeah,
chat is
we
very
social
excited
climbing
for this.
super hard.
Chat want Frosk. I'm so sorry, Raz. I mean, unless you want to paint Raz.
Well, you can paint Raz.
I could paint Raz. Maybe I should paint Raz. I was gonna paint a Well, I was gonna say, but I was gonna paint someone that doesn't know anything about League of Legends, so I'll paint Raz. Yeah, I'm happy to paint Raz. I'll paint whoever.
Yeah, paint Raz.
I was gonna be assigned someone by you guys, so that's fine.
I'll
I was gonna suggest Overly was the only
Well,
other
yeah,
person.
what regions do we have right now?
LEC?
We have
LEC?
two LECs,
Oh.
so we might want an NA.
Yeah,
I don't think we want
we have
NA.
LPL.
We don't have
as
an
well,
LCK.
so you
LPL's no representative.
No, because no, we want different regions because
Yeah.
if we
Yeah,
if we-
LPL is a different region, Nick.
Oh yeah, sorry, sorry. I thought you were saying that you were fine with two from the same region, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
I'm fine with two from the same region.
Why?
Well, why not?
Because we'll already have reached into that region once with a
I'll
portrait.
paint
We
out-
want
It's
to
about
reach
the
into
reach,
another.
Jay.
It's about the
Reach.
clout.
Well,
Jay.
there's so much emotion behind Medic's tale. Like, he's this guy that like grew up as a missionary in India, lost his mum tragically when he was very young. Now was a doctor in the UK. Now has moved over to the LEC. I really resonate with Medic.
Yeah.
Also, he does my stupid half smile, and also does a thing when he signs off from like Instagram stories, and everyone knows what I'm talking about here. And he's a very good friend. So I would like permission to do Medic, but if I don't get permission to do Medic, I'll do Atlas.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, okay, so either we change, and we can easily change to Raz,
Yeah.
and then you could do Medic, and then if you... Okay, well, I don't... Also, I was
I'll
gonna
do
say,
two. I'll do Atlas
I was gonna
and
say,
Medic.
No, before we had this conversation,
Yep.
like, I feel like Frosk adds, like she's had so many different hairstyles, like, so many different iterations.
There's a challenge
there's,
there?
There's, like, what do we do?
You can do a snowy mountain peak as
Yes.
Frost's hair.
Yes. I'm
There
all
you
about the
have
snowy mountain
expression.
peak hair.
Only half. Only half.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you guys will do Frosk. Yep. You're gonna do
Atlas.
Atlas, and I will do Raz.
Can we have like a
I'm
pyro
sorry,
cameo?
Max. Like, I'm a terrible artist. The thing is, as well, is I went and got permission from Medic.
Yep.
But I haven't got permission from Atlas. So if Atlas turns around and says no, which he's never going to do, but if on the 1% chance that he does,
Yep.
I'm swapping back.
Have you talked to Frosk? I haven't talked to anyone.
Oh no, we were gonna ask for forgiveness, not
Yeah, yeah,
permission.
yeah.
No. Who would not want art painted of it? Even if it's terrible, this is
Maybe-
a tribute. This is a celebration of the.
You
of
guys
the talent
view
around
this
it.
Maybe
much
because
different to
our
me.
intentions are so pure,
Yeah.
we should put like a little caveat on there that we create this, and it obviously has to be their Twitter DP for at least a day.
Yes.
Right?
I like that.
I
for
actually
sure.
think I'm kind of the opposite. I think when we do art, it's kind of defamation of character. And you guys better lawyer up because you're going after some heavy hitters.
Well, technically, the art so far has been a transgression of IP. So now
Yes.
we're moving into defamation of
Yes.
character. But it is all going to happen tomorrow. I'm very excited for this. So please come join us for the painting extravaganza before the mid-split break. And with that, let's head into the final game of the day. It is Gravitas versus Order, and this is the Macca's Champ Select. It's a banger.
He's his own soundboard now.
He made a sound that time.
That's true.
There you go.
He didn't say banger. Nick did.
No, he didn't
Anyway.
say banger. Yeah, unfortunate. Yeah, I mean, I'm still personally game to combine casters because then you can create new
well,
casters.
I was thinking that
which
Spawn
is
could
just new
just
content,
Spawn could just paint medic and then do like an Atlas cameo, a la what Pyra is in Nico. You know,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
make something simple in the background there. And
I was thinking more like Full Metal Alchemist, like literally combine the two.
right. I don't think we're that good.
No, I think that's kind of the point. Anyway, let's get into the Macca's Champion Select of Gravitas and Order for a final game of the night. I've confirmed with Ejim after game 3 you can call it night. And yeah, Nico will be the first ban from Gravitas.
Yeah, Nico taking off the board, a flex pick that is just very strong, but never a first pick is the Nico. So Gravitas taking that one away from their opponents. Whereas on the opposing side, Karma is a first pick because it goes to 3 lanes and can just be picked blind as the bans will continue, and it seems like we're going heavy on the meta priority route.
Heavy on the heavy hitters. Sona taken off here as well as Yumi, so a lot of support bans actually coming through here.
Lux is still up, however, and
Lux is
that
still up.
probably the last remaining really powerful support of the list, though Zaya Rakan is still there, so...
Yeah, Irelia, I mean, a final ban from Gravitas. I feel like Champions Select going pretty slow here, so yeah, we also have Nick Boy currently cleaning up the confetti cannon.
There's 2 options for Gravitas for me. One of them is picking the Lux. The second is picking the Zaya away from the Zaya Rakan duo and taking the lane of preference. With the Yumi gone, Aatrox while being there actually is the priority for them. Now what that does is it gives the choice to Order, so they can do as they please. And if you ask me, Order on the opposing side would prioritize a flex and the support or the Zaya, so either Lux or Zaya with the flex, but I don't know what these teams are playing right now. So the meta shifts a lot, and it's very hard to say for certain.
Yeah, Sejuani final ban there, and Order, as you mentioned, Lux was not banned, so will be first picked by Order and Gravitas, taking away the Aatrox. So again, big old flex pick for them. Can go top lane, mid lane, jungle.
And where I'm curious is where they go with this Lux. What do they pick with it? You know, is it the Sivir, the Ezreal type champions? Is it more aggressive? Is it a Caitlyn that just blind picks their entire bottom lane? Or do they go for the flex or a jungler even, someone that can just be a strong pick to outright have? And, you know, from what we can tell of Order so far in the OPL is that they love their Jarvan. Spooks loves his Jarvan in particular, and so they're just going to lock that one in.
Yeah, back over to Gravitas, going to be the Zaya pickup, and Big Boy has completed cleaning our area of the confetti. I felt like it was well placed, to be honest. It was only in certain places, yeah, easily cleanable.
Yeah, well,
flat surfaces.
it
Right?
was aimed at us for long enough, so I'm happy that that just wasn't. Good luck cleaning that from our faces, as it's just been. Anyway.
Yeah, Lovers Duo picked up by Gravitas and Order. Maybe the Caitlyn coming in.
Yeah, so
it could be Caitlyn Lux.
I mean, at the end of the day, no surprises, right? Caitlyn Lux against Zaya Rakan, a bottom lane that
Saw
we
it earlier
highlighted
today.
from the moment the bans were seen, and you're right, it's something that we've seen earlier today. You go through the rest of the bans now, and as it stands, no jungler for Gravitas, as Order have put a higher priority on that one, and no flex or any solo lanes locked in for Order, as Gravitas have changed their priorities here. So that's where the bans will go. 100% is where you'd expect them to go. Gravitas are going to ban Aatrox counters to put it on Parbu in top lane. And we'll see where Order go after the Olaf, as they've got the Jarvan. And you'd say traditionally, Olaf was countered by Jarvan, but it doesn't seem to be the case anymore.
Yeah, not so much. I mean, more the fact that you pop Cataclysm on the Olaf and you're like, I've got him.
Yeah.
And the Olaf also says, I've got him, and then kills the Jarvan in the pit.
Quickly things can change like that, just regarding champion strength. Of course, there's been a lot of nerfs across both of them here and there.
Very true.
This last ban from Order actually is a very important ban. The Gragas has been taken away, and it's not just removing Gragas from playlists, it's Gragas Yasuo. That combo has now been denied from Gravitas on the blue side because, like mentioned in our last game cast during draft, you pick at 4-5.
Yeah. Very true. Gangplank. Okay. Going to be picked up here by order. Final bound was Camille, and we also had... also, I would say like the sister pick in Fiora, also taken away by Gravitas. And yeah, Gangplank.
Yeah, just weak side top laner is going to be locked in here. Should know his matchup by the bans as well, that Aatrox will be that top laner. So very consciously choosing for his lane. Not a hard counter by any means, but an enabling pick for the rest of the map. It's so hard to dive a Gangplank. You can go Grasp, you can just get some health as well back constantly, build some flat HP, and just be impossible to deal with later. But during the earlier stages of the game, your Caitlyn, Lux, your Jarvan, they're doing the work that's necessary of them. Gravitas taking a different approach here.
Yeah, I remember the days when Gangplank was literally 100% appearance. A big old yawn. Get it?
God, you're
That was 7 seconds. I don't think I've ever yawned for more than 3.
And if you're yawning at home because that's very contagious, make sure to tweet at Parbu22 and flame him because he asked why he has the 22 in his Twitter handle, and the reason was horrible.
Yeah, also tag us so we can jump in as well.
Yeah, no, let us bandwagon.
That's at Pulse IRL and
Rusty Lol.
there you go. Yeah, always got that sick Twitter plug in there. Gravitas final pick will be Rek'Sai. And final pick of Zoe. Okay.
Yeah, Swiffer going to go back to his Zoe into the Azir matchup. Now, it's not a bad matchup. Unfortunately for Order, they haven't really found much success outside of the laning phase with the pick. But this is pretty consistent from Order as draft goes. I wouldn't say there's anything super surprising from them right now. Good team fight, fairly front to back in terms of style. I would say the Gravitas on the other side, very similar in that regard. But the Azir has a lot of scaling where the Gangplank does in a bit of difference between both of these teams. And for me, I look hotly towards the jungle role as to how it can have some influence. Jarvan and Rex, like gank-heavy champions. Unique paths can be taken for ganks as well by both of these champions to navigate around vision, not just to clear vision. And that does really put the onus on both of those guys with volatility honestly everywhere on this map to snowball a lane.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically 2 big armies fighting, right? Like front to back, kind of like Total War style, and that's kind of what you will expect. So you're right, it's like early game, how far can you get ahead in those respective lanes and try and give yourself the leg up when it gets to those moments. And yeah, we'll see how it pans out when we get into the game. Always fun to see a Gangplank can be very explosive as the game goes on. Same with Zoe, actually. 2 picks that can really just pop off.
Absolutely. I mean, both champions have a lot of potential to do some crazy things, and you don't often look at a Gangplank and expect craziness from them, you know, usually being picked to be on the weaker side of the Rift early, but you give it a kill. Impact's proven that from NA as well. He can have some big games. All
right, well, as we get into the game, we have the coach with us, so is Choo Choo is joining us this time. How are you going?
I'm good. I'm good. Hopefully we can get some wins this weekend.
Yeah, it's been a very tumultuous start, I would say, for you guys, though consistency in the regular season is something that we've addressed before in previous splits. So my question about that is, how is the vibe in the camp? You know, it's never good to start the way that you have.
Yeah, I'd be lying if I say it's been like good, but it's definitely been rough. Like after going 0-4 in the past 2 weeks, we had a similar patch in Split 1 where we just couldn't get a win, and then we ended up ramping towards Gauntlet. So everyone knows that we have that capacity to contest these top teams, and we're just really struggling to find our footing. But we've done so many exercises trying to like find our form in a meta that I think we probably didn't have the best read on. So hopefully, like, it's worked, and like we can show it this weekend.
Do you think that what happened in the first split in terms of your improvements after the middle of the split where you had the losses, do you think that's replicatable in this circumstance? Like, do you have the recipe to perhaps bring out eventually here?
Yeah, I think we do. And it's hard to like, I guess, like identify that because no one really wants to be like, oh, we're just bad now, we should go back to once worked. Like, we don't want to be like seen as a team that only has one way of winning the game. So which is why it was like a difficult thing to talk about. But like we've been forced to like
yeah, bit of engage in the
That's
bottom
not
side. No, it is not. Jake being forced into the brush right here. Root goes down.
Oh.
Dream might be a 1-for-1 trade right here as Jake is still cutting away. Yeah, it's a 1-for-1, so that could have gone a lot worse.
That went a lot better.
It's actually quite good
Yeah.
news. KD Carry still alive, so not a bad situation.
But what I was saying is, I think like everyone on the team is quite like happy-going guys. So we're pretty good at like building each other up and trying to like do our best, and hopefully like we start pulling in the wins.
Yeah, I was gonna ask like, how do you deal with those situations? Because you said it was pretty rough in the house. Like, do you have a way that you specifically attack? Like, the mood is low right now, a strategy to go against that, or you're just like, all right, guys, let's just like crunch down and practice.
Yeah, I'm sure every team has a different way of coping with these things, but I'll be very open about how we do it, which is like we have Sundays off, and then we come back and we kind of just sit in a circle. Like everyone like gets everything off their head. Like we talk about it, discuss what we didn't like, what we want to improve on, and then we work hard. Like we essentially like work hard towards like improving what isn't working, and it hasn't been improving for like a long time now, which is why we had to have even further talks. But like everyone's been like fairly optimistic, and like that's all I can ask for.
It's really similar to what we do, Choose.
Nice.
That's really cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us and giving your insight, and yeah, best of luck on the match.
No worries. Thank you.
Of course, 1-1 is the score. 3 minutes into the game now, but bottom lane has been a point of action, and every time we see a Xayah Rakan, it seems today, we'll see something happening at level 1. More often than not, however, the Xayah Rakan will be the ones getting the kills, not trading, and that early skirmish that happened was utterly wild, and having Aftershock on Lux meant a very significant difference in the prolonged living of Jake. He knew he was dead. Yeah. And if you watch that fight back, you'll know that he's acknowledged that he's running towards the enemy turret. But it's about buying time for Dream to deal damage, and that is exactly what happened. So honestly, a decent start for Order, considering how the 2v2 skirmish would be almost expected to go.
Yeah, when you can be a dead man walking for an extra 15 seconds, then of course that's going to be super useful. So 1-for-1 trade in the end.
The craziest thing is, I think if Dream leveled traps at level 1, they may have just gone an even more advantageous 1-for-1, maybe even 1-for-0. Right. It's hard to say. But the double lockdown could have been a pretty big deal there after Jake hit that bind. We'll never know.
Sure. You also never really expected to be ambushed. I think that's kind of like written on the tin when you you call an ambush, but yeah, for sure. Level 1 could have been a little bit different. I'd also like what Chusu's talking about in terms of mentality and how they approach, just kind of talking out what people's issues are. Because I think the worst thing in any type of team situation is bottling things up.
Absolutely,
not really, speak them out loud. I feel like the OPL caster team does that as very well. They have we have the roast segment where we just get things off our chest, and I think that we perform better because we have that.
You hear that, Australia Post? You're the reason we perform better, even though you don't.
Exactly. Yeah, so we've got another teleport into the bottom lane. I'm just kind of farming it out right now. Kind of what is to be expected from, I would say, every lane right now.
Well, Caitlyn Lux definitely wants to have the push. They want to have priority in lane, and whenever the Jarvan is on the bottom side of the map, you would expect to see that. Turret plates is actually something they should be looking towards. They may actually miss a plate being out of lane because of the size of the minion wave that crashed. So right now, Jarvan has just moved to bottom side. The plate does go missing, unfortunately, but the price is a dragon, and so they're going to kick this one off.
It is, and I feel like this is the first time I've seen a non-infernal dragon to start off the game. It will be Cloud Order. We've just had a chain of all infernals for, I want to say, like 8 games. So, change of pace.
What we call decoy waddles past. Spooks will be very low, you'd expect, by doing a Cloud Dragon. Cloud Drake actually hurts a lot.
Yeah, I believe it's the highest DPS.
Yeah, Ocean Dragon's annoying. It's got the slow as well, and decent damage output. Infernal's got some pretty good DPS as well to rival the Ocean, but Cloud's just does no damage. It's just rapid fire. Yeah, no, Mountain does lots of damage once every 3 seconds. Yeah. You get a bit of a wind up. Here comes the aeroplane of a spoon in your mouth.
Yep, except it's a rock.
Except it's a rock.
Top lane, Prayless. Early flash from Tally, I like it. Just gives 0 chance for a knock-up, a flash knock-up, any situation, really.
That's not the first time we've seen this from Gravitas, just ganking top lane for the sake of summoner spells, They could have gone for the kill if the spell had connected, but they're not committing themselves. The flank could have been deeper even from Prayless if he wanted to guarantee something more risky, but with a higher reward. They take the flash. They could come back at any time now, and it really does warp the way that you have to play the game if you're Tally. No flash. Dives are realistic, especially once Hayri gets some freedom in mid lane to move with them.
Harped on about the early game junglers, so I'd be surprised if I didn't see that. Deep looking for the knock-up. Great binding out from Jake. And that's just a straight... Wow, Raid walks forwards on that one. Okay.
Dream has run himself out of mana, so unfortunately for him, it's not the best time to be staying and over-pushing in lane. He actually pops a Cookie, I believe, there to get some extra mana back. Cookie gives flat 40 mana, I believe, regardless. Yeah. As well as restoring some of the missing amount, so that's nice from Dream. But Decoy felt like he was on a different page to Raid there as that trade ran, as we'll hold that thought.
Ooh, put to sleep permanently, courtesy of Spooks. Great kill out there by Order.
Yeah, the longest nighttime ever for Prayless Strikes, now dead for 5 more seconds. Bottom also has a lot of control now, and watch the way that Decoy and Raid have to play this one out. Think back to the trade that happened in favor of Order with the binding connecting from Jake, and now remember how that affects this lane as Spooks is hunting.
Gives him a little poke, and that's all he really needs in the end. Flash burnt by Raid, and 3 members plus Flag onto this bottom tower. We'll be able to get a couple more plates as Decoy comes into the bottom lane, so... Yeah. Oh, Raid stuck around.
Just really good League of Legends coming out of Order 8 minutes into this game after a crazy level 1 in the bottom lane. You can see how that has influenced the state of this lane just a little bit more. The BF sword purchase for the Caitlyn against the pickaxe obviously means a big deal in terms of lane DPS output. Some good trades as well, and then the mid laner of Order moving with the jungler to get a kill and pathing towards bot side. I mean, that's just basic good League of Legends coming out of them and nets them a lot of gold down there.
Mid lane just farming on up. I don't think Azir has moved from mid lane actually in this last 9 minutes. While all that was happening in the side lanes, just farming on up. And that's what an Azir will do. So he gets into the first little skirmish, first little fight, but really wants to hit those items to really get rolling.
Easy to get kills, however, for Order on his resets. So when he's in base, a bit of momentum available. Recall timings are actually a pretty big deal as well in League of Legends. Hard to recognize and speak about, but they are. As it means that you can get onto the map first, maybe place Vision first, and as a Zoe, I mean, that's a delight to have Vision there first, as Jake's going to have a... No, he's not.
Yes, he is. No, he's not.
He's going to run.
Level 5 right now, but Dream is there, and while Jake gets poked out, there's a lot of pings. Yeah, on the way pings coming out from Spooks, because he is looking to get something going on the bottom side, but Dream walls off that entire catwalk, and is now just chipping away at this tower.
Spooks has been spotted by the ward, however, of Gravitas. So they're just going to try and clear this wave as effectively as possible. And they'll be successful, however, with the control ward placed and Vision cleared again. The dance continues. They're lucky. Of course, Decoy's got his support item finished, so he'll be able to continue to replace Vision pretty effectively right now.
Yeah, you speak towards the dance. It's just a very tense early game, you know, with these ganking junglers, lanes that can explode very quickly, squishy champions across the board, to be honest. But we're just kind of on the verge of something happening, you know. We've had 3 kills, yes, but...
Yeah, I mean, it's objectives that you'd be looking at, right? We're 10 minutes in, so Herald is alive. Cloud Dragon number 2 in the game is also up in 30 seconds. And with the objectives in mind, I would be shocked to see Order not look to contest one of them. The question for me, and because this is pretty much becoming an OPL staple, is who goes towards top side? And there is a couple of trains of thought that you could follow here. One is that Gravitas, their bottom lane isn't winning. The push is happening bottom pretty constantly, and sooner or later, this turret will just fall, right? A little bit more pressure from a Jarvan, and the turret goes, and they have to be really careful of being dove at that moment. Do they just try and push the wave out as fast as they can, reset, and fast move to the Herald to try and trade objectives? Or does Gravitas as a team decide that a second Cloud Dragon may be a little bit too much and stay in contest, bring the Rek'Sai down here, teleport with Habu, and look to kill the 2v2 instead? I think those are the 2 paths that you would take if you're Gravitas. As that bubble hits.
Wow, yeah, has to cleanse out of that one. Whew. And the paddle start connecting on the backside. Good punish though from Harry.
Bit of an alpha move there from Swiffer, pathing-wise, and obviously with the Spooks around the corner.
Yeah, I mean, it's always scary to see a Zoe walking forwards at you, to be honest. Prayless
has spotted.
Did just spot, yeah, the Jarvan on the whole Tremor sense. Flash forwards. Oh, wow! That damage coming through, and what a bubble once again by Swiffer.
Good night, sweet Prayless once again. And it really is simple, isn't it, from Order? And that's the thing, it's impressive from them. But the reason it's impressive is because they're just doing their dotting their I's, crossing their T's really well in this game. They saw a single Tremor. Prayless may not have known that it was the Jarvan as well, not just the Zoe.
Yeah.
You know, gets bubbled and instantly dies.
Rough, real rough. But I will say that it feels like this is one of those games from Swiffer, you know? I think it's with skill shot champions, when so many things go on a single skill shot, you have those games, right? You think of like a Lee Sin hitting every Q, a Thresh hitting every hook, and it feels like every bubble is hitting from this Zoe.
This is the point in the game, though, that scares me for Order most of the time. This isn't actually a scary point for them, so why would I bring that up? Well, Swiffer's been ahead a lot. He's actually had a very good split so far, and he's been getting a lot of kills, and he's threatening for another.
This could be it. Flash forwards. Nice dodge by Hayri. Now he's underneath tower. Swiffer has to pop back to this one. It will be a 1-for-1 trade.
But how quickly the kills become something else for Order. They get kills onto Swiffer, but now he dies. AD carry of Dream as well is dead from a teleport by Pabu. Herald summoned, so they'll get plates, they'll get money, but they won't be able to get the turret. And they give something back.
Wow, fine spooks on the knockup right there. In tower range will be yet another kill over to Gravitas on that punish.
And it just feels like mistakes on clockwork. The second I want to speak about it, it happens. Order are getting gold, though. They are constantly getting plates. Gravitas are just going coast to coast, however, trying to pick something back, get some redemption. And the tragedy is they are finding.
Decoy on his way
Decoy's
to the
literally
top
gone
lane.
from bottom to top.
Yes, to bottom to mid to top, gank after gank after gank. Finds the knockup onto Tally right here. Follow through was the chains. There it is. Pabu. A couple more auto attacks will be able to get it, but Tally managed to escape alive. That grass coming into play. Also with Biscuit running and Corrupting Potion, by the way.
That could have been a lot worse.
That was a
Dream
lot of health back.
in that bottom lane. You just saw it, but you're right. Gangplank decently surviving in top lane. However, this is the fight that happens bottom. Yeah. Rakan's able to just pop the ultimate, the flash from Dream. Never going to get him out to safety. He dies. Mid dies as well, but the Herald charges. Top forced to run away, but they get plates up there as well. So at the end of the day, things still good for Order, but you really are seeing the hiccups, you know, the things that can be exploited that teams are using to try and poke back at them, get some gold in their own pockets, and maybe get some wins.
Sure, always feels good as a color caster to say something's going to happen and then immediately happens on your screen.
That's true, but it's also frustrating when it's the same thing. Like, this is like if you come into a legacy game and you're saying Paprise is going to fall down and farm.
Right.
You feel good, but do you? Because it's just happening again and again.
Sure. Zoe.
Bloody raspberries.
Wow. Again, finds the bubble, but the Raptor is in the way, so won't get the paddle star, unfortunately. I don't know if Zoe does that every single time.
I don't think it does, but
I think it's like an RNG chance for it to happen.
all we're hearing is raspberries.
Yeah, 2 in a row.
We'll find out. Of course, now they've grouped up in mid lane, sieging. They've brought Jake here as well. Dream is just
Oh my
dead.
lord. Yeah. Oh,
Maybe.
minion wave.
Dream is... Oh,
I think he passed it to brush.
oh, he's a
Turns
lucky
around.
boy. Does Caitlyn have ult? No. Well, that was close.
From both sides. And in the end, nothing happens. But yeah, that was literally an auto attack away. Rough top lane, Pabu finds himself a tower.
Yeah, Pabu able to trade back.
2-0-0.
Can't complain. Of course, the flash was burned earlier by Tally. He was playing on the weaker side. Also, Pabu teleporting to get some kills of his own. So he's able to command the top side of the rift with the presence of the rest of Gravitas, with the vision control they've set up as well. Good respect from Tally, however. We've seen it all too many times today, where the weak side person is dying. The real confusing thing for me, and this is a trend as well from Order, is Dream is dying a lot. And when you think back to the regular season of Split 1 for Order, Dream was dying a lot.
Yeah.
And it's those little moments where he's either just positioned too aggressively or doesn't expect something. I don't know exactly what it is for Order and for Dream. I don't want to speculate too much, but he is dying, and he is always the one that is dying in those moments, and it feels like that may be happening again.
Yeah. To clarify, in general, because he has died once this game, but
Yes.
it could also be
I am speaking towards
recurring
a team
theme.
that is 1-5.
Yes. Yeah, Order will get themselves the second dragon.
It was also almost 1-2, one of them being a 1v1 with an AD.
That
Like,
is fair,
these things
yeah.
are happening. Nevertheless, you're right.
Yeah,
this game
third
is 1-1.
cloud on its way. 3 in a row.
Yeah.
Which is not something to sleep on necessarily, though, if you get 3 on the team.
No, we swapped out Fire for Cloud, and looking at Order's roster, is move speed important? I believe it would be, yeah.
Yep.
Oh.
Also the fact, I feel like Cloud still gets a bad rep. Even though it was like already good, then got turned into in-combat movement speed. It's still good, but it's not damage, you know? I feel like that's where a lot of people just have their reservations on Cloud Dragon.
Like most things in life, Either it's nostalgia that makes you think of better times when you've
Yeah,
had
but-
Infernal Dragons and won games.
If you're talking about, you know, in life in general, I would much rather move 45 units faster in real life than I would like to be able to punch something 26% harder. You know what I mean?
You know what? I think that's fair.
Because you imagine how fast I could
know
get to the
what?
supermarket and how much time I would save in life. A
Who
lot of
needs
time.
a bike? Maybe I think I would prefer an Ocean Dragon though, because that just gives you health back
Constant
when you're doing
regen.
nothing.
Yeah, but only if you're doing nothing.
Would you ever get hungry if you've got an Ocean Dragon?
But you would only be able to do nothing forever because as soon as you did something, it would fall off because it's, you know.
I mean, it's 5 seconds of nothing before it starts working.
Yeah, that's fair. What's the other one? Mountain?
Yeah, I mean, more damage to structures and large
Damage to
monsters.
structures. Be pretty cool to hit a house and then have it fall down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you could be a demolition
Hell of a
expert.
party trick.
You could work at a circus.
Gravitas looking for their pick onto Spooks. Wow. Literally stood there and dodged everything.
Neither flags
And-
nor drag
Still in the pit. Incredible.
simply existed.
That was super cool. All right, well, Tiny still farming into the bottom lane. How are we doing in terms of farm? I feel like there's been a lot of farming in this last couple of minutes. Pretty much
Yeah.
equal across the board, to
So-
be honest, apart from bot lane.
Yeah, I think a big thing that you'd be looking at now is how do either the objectives start, the fight start, or you know, something of the like that can give an advantage to a team. And you know, the first thing was waiting for teleport timers for Pabu, as he is a pretty big member of their squad right now. Though the gold difference is pretty insignificant. He is 2-0. He has a lot of their gold. So teleport up for Pabu, now that's on. He can now go towards bot side with a little more conviction. Whereas for Order, I don't think they necessarily want to start fights. I think you just throw bubbles. And the second someone's put to bed, if it's not a Xayah ultimate or a cleanse on the Azir or the Rakan, you know, like those are 3 things that can prevent them, but they don't exist forever. And so it's about setting up for objectives. Looking at a tower, having vision control on one side where you can just barrage spells at them. If a bubble hits, if a binding hits, it's followed through with something that results in just death for that person. And I really think that's the game plan that you'd be looking at if you Order. While they've been a little bit more one-dimensional lately with their team fighting, and they still have a decent team fighting comp, there's a bit more to it this time.
Yeah. It does feel, as you said, kind of like reliant on those skill shots hitting, but I feel like in general, Order have been hitting their mark when it counts.
Yeah, they've broken 2 turrets as well right now pretty well through their Caitlyn, which is exactly how you should be doing it. And a little bit of an against the grain movement here from Praelis, being on the bottom side of the map. Just as your top laner's teleport comes up, you look towards a gank bottom. It's never something that anyone would really expect. So, yeah, doesn't work for them, but it's always possible that it does.
We'll also say that Spooks is very far ahead. We actually just took a look at the gold a second ago, and he's like 1,500 gold ahead. Yeah, 1,300 gold ahead right now. It's just been constantly farming through the jungle where Praelis has been looking for setups, etc.
He's had a very good game of League right now, Mr. Samuel Brawler. Spooks on that Jarvan. Been in the right places, been exactly where he needs to be. And, you know, 1-1-1. 2 of those were on the Rex side, Zoe Jarvan putting in work, but then he was also moving towards bot lane to set up his win condition, and that's the most important part. So, pretty good movements around the map here from Spooks. Hopefully it continues.
Looking to take down this tower here, Pabu.
You know, there are skins in League that I feel like just
Yeah,
do
I
less
was-
damage.
Actually, that's not the direction I was going to go with skins, but yeah, fair.
Well,
I
have
was
you
going
ever-
to say, like, talking about silhouettes, I thought that was Kale for a second.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Like a hench Kale.
I was just looking at pineapples and I was like, that does no damage.
I think there was a tweet from Raz the other day talking about silhouettes in League, how I feel like as more and more skins get released, the less and less champions look like champions, you know? Which is true.
Yeah, it is.
I think especially as a commentator when we just look at silhouettes all day, you know, when we have that instant recognition. Hayri though in the
Hayri
top
in
lane,
so much
well,
trouble.
it just needs anything to take him down, and Dream hits him once and he's dead. Top tower will fall. Spooks is going to tank this one, so it's important they hit it quickly, and he will survive on this one, so it will be another tower to Order.
It won't be Baron just yet. 21 minutes in, Spooks being very low, but it is so much control around the area. Gravitas seem to have directed their attention, knowing that Spooks was topside, to perhaps sneaking the Drake away. Get rid of that third cloud from your opponents if you can. So a bit of deeper vision being seeked out here by Praelis.
What's the past tense of seek? Suck?
Sort.
Sort. That's it.
Sort.
Sort him out. Black Drag Cataclysm.
Well, that just felt a little bit too simple for them. We just watched Praylist for an extended amount of time walk into the enemy jungle, use the Tremor Sense, see if there's someone at the blue buff. Not place a ward, but look for the Scuttle Crab.
Get hit by a bus and walk away.
Yeah, not a train, thankfully.
No. And Order will find themselves the third.
I don't think it felt so good he'd want to do it again.
Probably not. It was a lot of damage, to be fair. Spooks has gone for their Black Cleaver second. The other thing I will say is that Order, we haven't been in like a big combat situation for a while. And 4 out of the 5 members have a stopwatch. So you get into that fight, there's a lot of like semis-zonies to be popped.
Yeah, some golden boys.
And when we're getting to the point in the game where Baron is a thing, next dragon's going to be Infernal, you're getting to a big fight situation. I feel like that's a big deal.
You know, there's a couple things that I want to highlight in this game. One is that that's a good point because Aatrox may not get resets as actively. It's also really good against Rek'Sai ultimate. And the like, as Praylist has 0 HP.
Swift flashes away, and that's going to be an instant kill down onto that Rek'Sai as Decoy jumps on towards Tally, but the rest of the team just getting slaughtered by the dozen. Triple kill comes through for Order in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, and again, that just feels all too easy from them. Redemption used here to keep themselves healthy. Baron now going to be started, and to contest this would mean certain death for Pabu and Hayri. But what other options do they have?
Gonna give it a shot. Hayri does do a fair amount of damage on 2 items, but Baron down to 3,000, looking towards that smite. Jump forward by Pabu. 1 versus 5 right now, getting into the pit, causing a bit of a ruckus, but completely by himself. Hayri not being able to really do that much for him. And that's a kill and a Baron.
And the second point to stopwatch was that if you have one, which Pabu does, Caitlyn loves that. Because now she's going to set the traps up. Gangplank's going to set the traps up. Dream. His stopwatch is down. The trap missed. Oh god, he's going to do it.
Hiding back. Decoy's there with the knockup. Decoy was not there. Praylist was dead, but right place, right time. Dream will eventually go down.
A quick cut to Spooks, forcing another summoner spell by ulting. They're able to get someone well away this time. Spooks uses his ultimate in mid lane.
This has been a weird paced game, right? Because this almost happened instantaneously.
Yeah, Praylist actually had the tunnel already channeled there. It was queued up as the bubble had connected. So, the paddle star connected. Really, there's no setup here from Gravitas. They were hunting to clear the mid wave, I believe, pretty aggressively, but it's as simple as a single Zoe Q connecting and or to get what they're after. Gangplank, no hesitation, comes into the fight, locks them down, and that's the thing. Like you mentioned, it hasn't really felt like a normal paced game of League. It's a frustrating game, though. Yeah. And the reason it's frustrating is the points that we've brought up. It's the composition from Order. It's just so powerful with a lead. Where usually we've seen Zoe get a lead, but can't quite get the assassination. Game extends, things change, but this composition doesn't even need the bubble to hit. It just needs damage from the fed Zoe. No tanks on the opposing side to soak a thing.
I'm still trepidatious, though, when I look at Order and the amount of games that have just gone sideways, you know? But I feel like as the time goes on, we're getting further and further away from the periods of the game where I feel like a lot of Order games kind of fall away from them. So,
yeah, I think we're at a point where the lead might just be insurmountable for their opponents.
Yeah,
but it's possible.
Quietly optimistic.
Never write it off. But still look at Order with cautious optimism, as this game has been significantly better. We heard from Choo-Choo's. He's confident coming into this week that things could be fixed. And this is a brilliant first step towards that mark.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That being said, if you're just looking at comps alone, Gravitas double scaling picks AP and AD. Theoretically, if this turns into like a 50-minute game, which we did have earlier today, you know, those type of games, that's where you can bring it back, right? But it takes a play from your team around an objective to buy some time, put a bit more time on the clock, and then maybe that becomes a possibility.
And you don't want to give too much time to an Azir. Nor do you want to give too much time to a Xayah. Of course, very good team fighting as we hit later and later into the game. But, I mean, the lead they've got right now, the question for me is, can you dive? Azir can clear waves pretty well. You can still step up and threaten. And I think there's 2 things we need to see from Order. One is setting up vision on a quadrant of the map. Right now, they've got blue side control. They're actually extending that over to the red side to threaten bot inner. And it's how do they use that vision to set up their composition. Zoe bubbles, Lux Qs, Caitlyn traps, and Gangplank barrel.
Gangplank ultimate. Yeah, that was a lot of damage there onto Raid. Laser follow through as well. And Raid is completely out of the fight.
He's going to have to walk back to base. The long road home for him as well. Hayri now the only carry here. And this just means the turret will drop.
Yeah, no
That was
pomp,
close.
no circumstance, and Order just kind of rock up to the tower, no AD carry there, so they'll just drop it. Line of Sand Soldiers just playing gatekeeper to the inhibitor, but Order, their job is kind of done, to be honest.
Yeah.
Back away, Dragon's up, that would be a free take, essentially. Baron not there to contest either. And Order in a very good position right now, just trailing wards as they go back towards that objective.
Order's only win of this split, but their first win of the season as well, I believe it was against the Bombers, was a composition not too far from exactly this. The most frustrating siege type of gameplay you'll ever see, where if they post up in an area, if they set up their control, then they're almost unbeatable. And it does really feel like we're starting to get closer and closer to that type of gameplay. Of course, Dream was on the Ezreal in that game, if I recall correctly. Also on the other side of the rift for no random reason, I know that.
27 minutes into this game, and we're going to have another dragon. This is going to be a 5-dragon game. It's going to be Ocean.
And I don't know if we'll live to see that dragon, actually. 4.5 minutes till that next dragon, maybe enough time for Order to set up the game. Control has been established, however, by Gravitas, blue side area. They may look, the goal difference is significant, but at a certain point you feel desperate. You say, we've got item spikes, now we go. And those item spikes are the likes of 3 complete items for Raid, the rapid fire cannon now done, an attack speed item, and 2.5 there for the mid laner. And Hayri still does a lot of damage.
Decoy, knock up onto Jarvan, but the team really there to back him up right now. Oh, that's a lot of damage onto Hayri. Oh, Swiffer, massive paddle star. Raid getting chunked out there by Tally. Oh, tries to hit him with the last parlay. Not going to be enough, but that's 3 members essentially down for the count here.
And no one gets a fight. Order just sit there and, oh, Binding's on, they're still looking.
Still trying, Hayri just in range to land that Sand Soldier. And the temporary tower goes down. Second tower into the mid lane, Baron about to spawn in 30. And Order, so frustrating to play into. Big damage abilities just coming across from super long range, where Gravitas just don't have an option to respond.
Pabu's teleported.
Dodgeball. Pabu, that was just from Bubble, by the way. Pabu knocked up. He's still got the Guardian Angel. The Gravitas are here. Might be able to get himself the pick onto Swift right now. He's low. He's dead. Decoy. Can he get anything else out of this one? Redemption coming down. It's going to be a big heal. Laser comes across. Goes wide. And Swiffer down for 40 seconds. Buys Gravitas some time.
A good redemption, good save there from Deco under the AD carry of Raid. Raid was looking to make some montages, going very aggressively at the rest of Order. Maybe if he locks someone down, they could follow through and it wouldn't just be 1 kill under Swiffer. But at the end of the day, that's all it is from Order. They suffer 1 casualty, and now they continue to step forward. There's a red buff Caitlyn. Threatens Pabu's life in the face of all of them.
Yeah, maybe feeling a bit cheated there on crit. I think that was like 1 out of...
Oh, they got it!
Are you kidding me? Threaded the needle through 3 targets.
Curves the bullet, and that actually removes a lot of the team fighting from Pabu. No teleport, no flash, no Guardian Angel. How's he meant to be a frontline when Order step up and deliver, and the Caitlyn even has the trap set up? This is a really rough position, and they're still going to find it.
Avery wants it, flashes forward, no divide just yet. Decoy looking for that knock-up, but not really finding the CC. Pabu turning us on towards Tally and Spooks, but they are handing it to Hayri. Turning on towards him, goes into the Zonias, but he's now surrounded by Order. 2 kills.
And with the double kill going over to Tally, it looks like Baron will just be picked up here, will be secured. The game becomes hard.
Flash,
as Raid
put to sleep. Good night.
Good lord, Swiffer is a menace when he plays this Zoe. Or even get the kill as the Baron goes down, and that should just be it. Order should just have the lead, be able to reset and set up in a lane again. But Gravitas showing there's still some fight in the system, and they will hunt again.
Bit of a messy fight right here. Gravitas really reaching for this engage.
Yeah, Harry actually going over here using his E forwards means that he won't have any disengage. So has to use the Emperor's Divide to get spooks off him. But Tally's just bopping him. Just hitting the pineapples, locking him down. Dream, Jake, they're kiting away easy as you'd like. And because nobody's dying, because there's no resets to be found, that's it. That's how the fights will go down, and Order will continue to go forward.
This was really awkward for Hayri, you know, like conquering Sands into Flash, and then was like, well, I'm not in range for Emperor's Divide, so I will stand here and I will DPS in not quite mid-range, but also not quite melee range, and then now I'm under attack and I'm dead. So it was just, yeah, slight misstep in positioning that cost so much in the end. And yeah, you've also got to speak towards Swiffer. Had a hell of a game, just been landing bubbles left and right.
Absolutely. And so is Spook so far playing this job. Tally also having a good
Swiffer.
showing. I mean, overall, Order just look like a very reinvigorated team once again. As they set up bottom, Gravitas, desperation will start to set in. There's only so much Azir can do against Baron minions. If they don't start hunting, well, they just die.
Yeah, this is rough. Oof, Hayri under attack. Laser not quite hitting the mark, but it's in the hole. Gonna give it a shot. Decoy tanks and gets half health by it. And Order will back away, look towards the mid lane, need that wave to push in. And we'll look for the next tower. And this is another situation where I feel like I've seen this so much where Caitlyn will just set up at the tower and inch forwards.
Well, the game is about traps. Can Caitlyn set up the trap line before you can step up and engage?
Yeah.
Because if not, you just lose the tower.
And Gangplank ultimate says no to that.
Exactly. Here they go.
Ooh, good engage coming out from Decoy. Pabu from the backlines as well. That's a lot of damage. Nukes down Jake. Tally backing away from this one. But Dream, the key target, barely down.
Flashes in.
Forwards onto Pabu. Gets that one kill. Raid backs away. Up against the wall. Hayri finds the second. Can they kill him as he comes back up though? They can't get in range, Gravitas. And Dream, he has the team in front of him, and he's able to just stand and deliver 3 kills in that fight.
And I'd hate to say, tragically, we saw one of the Caitlyn Guardian Angel bugs where the headshot damage went off all dead. We'll have to watch the replay. But Order, they've got the kills, 4 dead. Game should be over here, and they get to bounce back some redemption found from them after a 0-4 streak the last 2 weeks.
Yep. Breaking that streak finally. Order right here, toppling the Nexus turrets and toppling Gravitas. And they will take the win to end our night on the OPL.
And almost from start to finish as well this time around, you would say much better from them. I would hope to see some relief on the faces of them. Of course, only 1 day down of week 4. They still have another game up ahead of them. But as it stands, that is much better from Order. You know, that wasn't just an individual hard carrying for them by any means. That was much more of a team effort. And for a team that has been spoken towards as one-dimensional in the way that they want to be team fighting when possible, they've proven that, again, they've got that second step there, that they can play without having the team fight. They can just play a good vision game. They can play a siege game and still be able to get those wins.
Yeah, I mean, I really just like the composition in general, to be honest, what they were looking for. It felt like playing towards all of the players' strengths. I felt like Swiffer being on Zoe was a big deal in the mid-game, in the laning phase, and through the mid-game, to be honest. So, yeah, it played towards their strengths, and there was still that point in the game, and you called it out as well, where it just felt like it could go either way, and it almost felt like a lot of that onus was on Order, not making those mistakes, not putting themselves out of position.
Yeah.
Dream felt like he was out of position actually quite a few times this game, but it did end up working out in the end. And they were able to get over that hump because Gravitas didn't really have anything to deal with it, but that still feels like something that if you're Order, you have to look towards in your future games because it's still not something, feels like a band-aid over a wound, right? Something that hasn't quite healed yet.
It wasn't the perfect game. I can say that much for certain, but what that was much improved, particularly through the top side of the map. Spook, Swiffer, Tally had very good games as well. The bindings were hitting from Jake, honestly, as well in the bottom lane, and Dream was playing the Caitlyn very solidly, except for the couple times that he was found in some 1v1s and some curious predicaments. So, at the end of the day, hopeful for Order after a game, I believe, is the word that I would use for this, because that is a much better performance.
It is, and also breaking a big streak is always a big deal, just for the mentality of a team. Well, that's it from us. We're going to send it back over to the couch.
Where there is life, there is hope.
Not the worst round robin we've ever had. That's all I'm taking away from it. 2 wins, baby.
Congratulations to Order for the win. As Rusty said, not a perfect game, but results are all that matters.
Back to throwing spears. You know, like looking at the draft, like coming through it, it's like if that was a Jace, then it almost would have been literally the same comp. GP does similar things, but yeah, much slower game. I think the laning phase almost lasted like 15 to 20 minutes in the realm. It wasn't like an early like bruises, yada yada. This was like a poke-ish scaling comp versus an Azir comp and stuff like that. But yeah, lasted a long time. Built up the gold lead, eventually closed it out.
Yeah, because this is one of those games where you're like, they're playing Caitlyn, they're playing Lux, they obviously want to fast push, they want to break turrets, but on the flip side of the map, GP wants a really long laning phase.
Yeah.
And Zoe also wants like an item and a half. Once she gets there, she wants the game to speed up. Don't get me wrong, she's not as slow as an Azir.
But you need one-shot potential.
Yeah, but she doesn't want to come out of lane with like one item. Like Akali just wants a gunblade, side lane, see you later. Hopefully I win the game for you, right?
Yeah.
So kind of a wonky comp from Order, like to call it honest. Like I kind of agree with the Band-Aid analysis. Still a couple of people caught out of position. And that's what my big problem is at the moment. Like, I think that Order mechanically are playing fine, they're just making some strange decisions.
Yeah.
And they're getting caught out. And that was shown in this game. The difference was I don't think Gravitas capitalized to the same extent that the Chiefs and the Mammoths of the world do.
Yeah. Certainly the case. Like, Dream's mechanics are so good, he gets to auto attack from
When
within
dead.
GA. Literally auto attacks the Azir. But yeah, definitely true. Like, there are a lot of moments this game where it's like Swiffer gets caught topside on Zoe, like in Gravitas' jungle, and they were constantly looking for picks. Dream did the same thing, like
after
multiple
Nash,
times.
yeah.
Yeah, they talked about it. And like the timings are just not there. Like, those picks are super punishing. And I mean, they weren't punished for it this game, but their comp isn't even good at dealing with that sort of thing. If you are like, we get Baron, we set up, we siege, like if you have a comp that relies on the setup heavily, then those things mean even greater like pitfalls for you. But it was enough to get a victory, and I feel like for Order, that was like what they were looking for, right? Like it doesn't matter how this happened. Like, they broke the streak.
Yeah.
They got 2 wins on the board now. Like, it's onwards and
It's
upwards.
a mental win.
And
as
it was-
much
Yeah,
as an
exactly
actual
what
win.
Jake was saying. Like, before, like in the last game, like the tiniest thing switches, that's a victory. Then like that could be the reset.
And the only way to eat an elephant is one mouthful at a time. And like they have to get back to climbing towards, that top spot, because obviously that's the goal of the organization. And they were able to come second, and Bombers are now, in my eyes, still reduced. So, this is one of those things where Order would have come into the split with a lot of expectations. But I feel like they've done the right thing. They've kind of shelved all of that, and they've started to rebuild from the ground up. There were less mistakes. It doesn't have to be the perfect game. You just have to beat Gravitas today. Go in tomorrow. You just have to beat Bombers tomorrow. That's all it should be, like one step at a time.
And I mean, to take it broader picture, like today was a day of games where it's like, oh,
Yeah.
at least we got the win. It's like, our Nexus is on half HP, but we won. It's fine.
Well, the thing is, right,
Yeah.
if you get a couple of these wins in a row, they stop being arsey and they start becoming like, they're clawing their way back into games.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Mammoth is like the perfect example of this. If Mammoth had lost the 3 close games that they had early game deficits in, we would be like Mammoth of last split, they can't bring it together on the game day. They keep getting blown out in the early game and losing these games. But because they've won 15 minutes of gameplay, 5 minutes at the end of 3 games,
Yeah.
we're saying like best team in the league potentially could auto see through to MEO.
Yeah,
So
and it clumps together once you get to week 10, looking back at like how their games went. You just look at the wins and it's like, oh, what a streak they went on.
It becomes the narrative.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say that Order's playing anywhere near as Mammoth before I get flamed. Mammoth is in much better form than Order right now, but I feel like there is a lot of like outcome-related bias in sport. That's the way it
Wins a
works.
win.
Wins a wins a wins a wins a win. We all had a win today. Thank you very much for joining us. We will, of course, look at the winners right now as we take a look back at the games that have been played. The Chiefs took out Avant in game number 1. Direwolf so close to toppling Mammoth in game 2, but Mammoth managed to claw back and hold on. Bombers pretty much wipe Legacy off the floor. And then finally, Gravitas cannot stand up to Order, who take the win that they desperately needed. Tomorrow's games, Chiefs versus Mammoth, start us off.
Ooh,
I mean,
yeah.
that's a game. Bryce, just say it once.
a banger.
For once in your life. Bombers versus Order, game number 2. I mean, based on what we saw today, Tetra banger, Gravitas versus Avant.
This is
game
why he
number
has
3.
a soundboard, by the way.
And then Legacy versus Direwolves round out the evening. Please join us at MEO. We would love to see you there. You can get your tickets at melbourneesportsopen.com.au/tickets. It's going to be a wonderful... Oh, okay, sure. I was going to say wonderful weekend, but
Yeah,
you
you
can
can
step
sit
on
in the
my
crowd
lines.
and you can hold a banner.
I would love if people brought signs that just said banger. And maybe their own soundboard, because judging the way that it's going, Matt,
That's
the
kinda
producer's not
faulty.
going to get me one before the
Yeah.
end of the split. But you know who could get me one? Our sponsors. God bless them. God bless their hearts. McDonald's, the official partner of the OPL. M-Wave, the official retailer of the OPL. And of course, HyperX, the official headset of the OPL. And also to whoever provided me with the dud cannon, the official enemy of the OPL. Thank you very much for nothing. It's been a lovely evening with you gentlemen, and it is about to continue with the NPL, which we did say at the beginning was going to be a
Summoner's Rift.
Yeah, just a Summoner's Rift game. It's actually
lied.
not. We lied. It's going to be a double TFT. So please come hang out. Twitch chat. I would love your help to try and beat these two, who seem to be the dominant force in the room, I would say.
Are we playing on live now?
Sure,
I haven't
we
played
are.
a
We're
single
playing-
game of TFT, which also means people can probably snipe us.
We are
Which
playing
also
on live.
means that you only have a ghost.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't have a tier 3
You don't have
furry horn.
You're pathetic. Yes.
Oh, the penguin.
Yes.
Oh,
So
I'm
you can't
upset.
annoy
So
you can't
sad.
annoy Nick by
Can
going,
any rioters in the building please give
You know who
me
does
a
have a
bajillion
penguin?
RP so that
This guy.
you have a
I can buy a
I have a
skin,
penguin.
please.
There you go. All right, please join us for the MPL. We will see you in 5 minutes' time.